Hello everybody. Thanks for joining. Colleen here with Couture, doing a quick little project tonight using our July Club Couture, which is actually available, or was available, became available July 1st on our online store, which I will post in the comments below right now, the link to my online store. Super quick and super fun project using our chalkboard from Couture, which can also be found on my online store, which I'm actually posting the link to right now. Sorry, I'm a slow typer. If I could see, that would help. Let's see. So we're going to do it on one of our amazing Couture boards, as I mentioned. And this is the first time that I'm using this transfer. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the steps of what we do when we very first open our transfer for the very first time. So the first step that we do when we open our transfer for the first time, if I can open it from the right side, when we remove our transfer from the packaging, the very first step that we want to do is we're going to cut along, because this transfer actually has a couple pieces to it. So what we want to do is they provide the lines right here for you to cut along, because we've got the little pieces here of the tree and the little sunburst here. And we want to go ahead and cut those pieces out. So I'm going to grab my scissors right here. So we cut those out first. Keep moving my napkin. So we're just going to go ahead and cut those on the lines that are provided right here on our transfer. So we cut those out. And then what we do is we want to make sure that, hello Shannon, we want to make sure that we are labeling the back of our transfer so that when we are returning the transfer to its carrier sheet, we are making sure that we are placing it on the correct side. Because if you've ever listened to any of my lives previously, we know that this is the paper side, and this side here is the shiny side where we are returning our transfer to, and we want to make sure that we're putting it on the correct side. So I just grabbed my little Sharpie marker here, and I just label the back. You can label it with a B or back, or because this transfer only has 3 pieces, it's okay for me to just label back, and they are different sizes, so I'll know which piece goes with which. If you happen to have a transfer with a lot of tiny pieces or a lot of similar shaped pieces, then you can go ahead and just write actually what it is. It helps to keep things a little bit organized for you, so you know which transfer goes onto which carrier sheet, especially when you get into the bigger transfer sets that have a lot more pieces. So as we always do, we remove our transfer from the carrier sheet like so. We peel that back. And because it is a brand new transfer, it is very sticky, so we want to always fuzz it up. Hello, Kristen. We always want to make sure that we are putting some fuzz just from a towel, or you can place it on your pants. However you want to do it. I'm just going to do it on camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. So basically just taking some lint or fuzz from my towel and putting it on the back of the transfer so that it makes it sticky. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. It is a little late for me to be on here tonight, so I'm a little tired. I don't want to make it sticky. I want to make it less sticky is actually what I'm trying to do by putting fuzz on the back of the transfer. And the reason that we do that is because we don't want it to stick really, really hard to the surface, and then it gets a little difficult to remove it from that surface. And trust me, I learned the hard way when I ruined one of my transfers when I placed it on glass and then couldn't remove it and stretched out the transfer. So we just want to make sure that we are getting some fuzz on it. And actually, to save time, I'm going to just put it right on my pants off screen, just because it's a heck of a lot quicker for me to do this. So I just put it on my pants and pick it up and take it back off and then do it a couple times, and it's a lot quicker process than me trying to do the towel. So basically I've just gotten some fuzz from my pants, and now I am ready to go ahead and put my transfer down onto my chalkboard. So we are ready to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and center this as best I can here. This transfer fits perfectly on this board. It was like it was made for it. So we're going to go ahead and put this down, just making sure that I'm not feeling any bubbles. And you'll notice, I think you can kind of see there's a little bubble here, but that's not on the silk screen area. So that's perfectly okay if there's a little bubble in there. Not a problem. You just don't want any bubbles where there is silk screen area. So for this, I actually didn't pick my colors out yet, so I'm going to do that now. I think for mountains, I'm going to use a type of greenish color, and I do have evergreen, so I think I'm going to use evergreen for the mountains. And I think, let's see, what's kind of like a mountainy kind of colors that I think will look good on this board. Let's go with, that will look good with green. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like a purple, or, I think I'm kind of leaning towards like a purple color. What do we think? What do you think of those two colors? We could do those two colors, maybe one more color. We could do green for the mountains. We could do adventure and purple, and let's pull one more color in here. Maybe we could do, how about, I wonder how school bus yellow would look. What do we think of those? They're kind of fall colors, kind of. I kind of like that color combination though. I think that they might work. Let's go for those colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to work from the top down, so that way I can pull down my transfer as I'm working. Hey Jess! I'm going to pull down my transfer as I am changing out the different colors. So I'm going to go ahead and get my first chalk paste open, and I'm going to, I haven't used my evergreen in a little bit, so I'm going to just give that a quick stir, just to make sure that we are always looking for that consistency of yogurt, so that our chalk paste will go on nice and smoothly. This is a little thicker than I would like, so what we can do is we can just go right ahead and add just a little touch of water and give that a stir. I'm going to give that just a little touch more water and give that a nice vigorous stir. And now we're cooking. Now we've got it to the consistency of yogurt that we're looking for. And just remember, a quick tip is that not to use wooden sticks when you're stirring, because that will take some of the moisture out of the chalk paste. We do use organic pigments in our chalk paste, and it is best to keep it kind of moist, if you will, and you definitely do not want to use the wooden sticks on those in the chalk paste when you're stirring it. So it's definitely best to use a plastic. You can even use like the plastic utensils. That works perfectly too. So that's fine to use as well. So let's just go ahead and cover the mountains on top here in our beautiful evergreen. Just a little bit of chalk paste, again, just covering the silkscreen areas. And you can just spread that straight across. And I can see I probably could have just put a smidge more water in there, because it is just still a little thick, but that's okay. We're just going to be quick and just cover the silkscreen area. And then just make sure that we're getting all the lines out of there, like we always do. And all the excess right back into our jar. And then I'm just going to pull down just so that this isn't going to dry on here, because it is a little warm up here in my little craft room up here. So hi Eileen. So I'm just going to pull this down, and I probably should have fuzzed this just a little bit more, because it is sticking on here pretty good. Like I said, this is the first time I'm using this transfer, and it may have needed just a little bit more fuzzing. So I'm just going to take my time, just pull this down, applying even pressure right across the transfer so that I'm not stretching it. So here's a good tip: if it is still a little sticky on your surface, just take your time. Perfect. So I pulled it down to the next level, and I actually pulled a little too far because I pulled the up. And then I'm just going to let that lay down there. All right, and then we're going to do the in the school bus yellow. Now I have not, oh my goodness, I hope this one works, because I have not used school bus yellow, I think, since I purchased it back in July. So let's give this a stir and see how this will. I actually like this. I'm using colors that I haven't used in ages, so this one is really going to need some help. It's nice to use colors that you haven't used in a while. I kind of like doing that every once in a while. I always have my standard colors that I go to all the time, so I like trying new colors every once in a while. But what happens is it's been sitting for a little longer than it probably should have, but not to worry. Just add a little bit of water and you can bring it right back to life. See how that looked like it needed just a little bit of help, but once you add that water, you are good to go. Perfect. We have the consistency that we're looking for. So I'm going to do the, and then I'm going to go ahead and do begin in the school bus yellow as well, but I'm just going to do the real quick. That's a real quick one. And then I'll keep my squeegee here to the side. Sorry. And then we'll pull this down so that we can not have the chalk paste. Look how pretty the school bus yellow is on the white chalkboard. That looks so pretty. So then we're just going to move to Adventure, which we're going to do in purple. And then I'll go back to the yellow on the bottom here. So let's get this one open. I like having the different colors on here. I think that's going to be pretty. So we're going to go ahead and stir this one up. Again, looking for that consistency of yogurt. I'm going to give this just a quick spritz as well. These are the older 2-ounce jars. And we are migrating, I think just about all of our chalk paste, if I'm not mistaken, are now all in the 3-ounce jars, which is pretty amazing. For only 1 ounce more, the difference in it's so much more that you get in here. And I love the fact that with the jars now, our squeegees, which this is the size of our squeegees, they fit perfectly in here, which is awesome. Okay, all but red orange, right. You're right, Jess, all but red orange. I did just look at that the other day. So yes, so all the colors but red orange have migrated over to the 3-ounce jars, so that's perfect. So let's get a little bit, we're going to need a little bit more for Adventure. Let's put this off to the side here. So we're just again covering the silk screen area. I'm going to go pretty quickly. Just cover this up. Sorry, it's kind of folded over here where I pulled back over on the other section, so you might not be seeing, but I am working kind of quickly because it is rather warm up here. And it's drying very fast on my board. Now there is another trick besides what I'm doing now with the pull down method. If you do notice that it is really drying quickly, you can place a damp paper towel over top, and that will reactivate the chalk on your transfer so that you can remove the transfer before it dries. So, because what will happen is if the chalk paste does dry on the transfer and you try to remove the transfer, your chalk paste is going to come right up with it. So obviously we don't want that to happen. So we need to make sure that the chalk paste is still wet on there. So let's go ahead and pull this back. Again, I'm just being very slow because it is still pretty sticky on here. Look how beautiful the color combination is. I love that. Oh, I missed just a tiny bit over here. And you know what I can do? Here's a quick tip. You can just lay that right back down. And I'm just going to go put a little bit more chalk paste. Hopefully it's not too dry on there, because I just missed that little corner over there. Oh. No, now I just made it worse and I smeared it. That's okay. We can come back in with the Q-tip and touch that up, because I just goofed when I laid it down. I smeared it. That's okay. All right, perfect. Now we just need to touch up the bottom here and get our begins in and our school bus yellow, and we are done. And then I'll just touch that up where I just goofed. I should have just left well enough alone and not tried to touch it up when it was still wet, but that's okay. Not a big deal. That's the great thing about Couture. If you're not happy with something, you can wash it off with water. All right. And that fast, we are almost done this beautiful project that you can hang on your wall and love it for a little while, and then change out your design to something else. Pretty cool. Just getting all those lines out. And it's okay. See how the transfer started kind of rolling a little bit because it was sticking on there pretty good. Once I get it into the water and I clean off my transfer and I get it back onto its carrier sheet, it's going to lay flat again. It'll be fine. And if I wanted to, I could just put a book on it just to put a little weight on it to flatten it back out again, but it should be fine. This is drying so fast in here. I don't know why it's so hot in this room right now, but I could see the yellow is that fast is already drying on my transfer. Okay. But that is it. We're almost done. Voila! That is perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just putting my transfer in my little bucket of water off here to the side, and I'm going to show you how to clean it real quick. But in the meanwhile, oh, thanks, Shannon. Thanks, Jess. I am going to quickly grab a Q-tip because I just want to show you how to clean up that little boo-boo that I made right there. Thanks, Jess. I love the color combination. I think that came out really good. I really like it. Let me grab that Q-tip real quick. I got it handy right here. Okay. And so what I do is I just get my Q-tip wet just a little bit, and then I just kind of run my finger to make it kind of like make sure that I don't have any fibers, because sometimes some of the fibers come off of the Q-tip. And then I just kind of go in here with my Q-tip. These are not the best Q-tips. Sometimes it's better to get the good ones. And get in there. And plus, can't see real well. I think I got most of it. Let's see. Yeah, I think I got most of it. There's just a little bump right there that's gonna bother me. But I'll come back in and clean that up. But I got most of it, but I'll just touch that up just because I'm obsessive like that. But that is pretty much all there is to that. And I love the color combination. I think that came out really, really super pretty. Let me move this iPad because it keeps wanting to fall. So let me move that out of the way. And I am going to, as it just fell down, I knew that was going to happen. Let me move that thing out of the way so it doesn't keep falling down here. Okay, so what I want to do is show you how to clean up your transfers once you have your design completed. So I have, as I mentioned, my little bucket of water right here. And I have my transfer, I placed my transfer in here with the chalk paste side down. And then what we can do is we can throw all of our squeegees in here as well. And what we want to make sure that we're doing is that we are getting the lids back on our chalk paste pretty quickly so that we are not drying that chalk paste out. So I just kind of try to clean up the lids because we want to make sure that we have a pretty good seal on top of our lids. So I normally will take a paper towel and just kind of run it across my lid just to make sure, because I'm a bit of a sloppy crafter. So I just like to make sure that I'm not having any chalk paste on there, because with the 2-ounce jars, this isn't so much of an issue with the 3-ounce because they don't have the little plastic lids, but if you do happen to have the 2-ounce jars, it has these little plastic lids. So you want to make sure that you've got a nice tight seal on your chalk paste. So we need to make sure that we are definitely keeping our lids on there, keep that nice and tight, and that will keep the chalk paste for a nice long time. The 2-ounce jars, again, like I mentioned, I got this probably back in July. Once you open your jars, they are guaranteed for 6 months. Obviously, we're almost approaching a year now that I've had this jar. So you can keep adding water to it, but it is guaranteed for 6 months after you open it. The shelf life on chalk paste unopened is a year, but it is 6 months once you do open it. But as you see, I still have mine almost a year later, and I'm still using them, and they're fine. Again, just making sure that we're cleaning off the top of the lid, and it's just these couple extra little steps just to make sure that you're keeping your chalk paste in good order, and that's going to help get you the most projects that you can out of all your chalk paste. It makes it last longer, and yeah, makes it go a long way. Okay, we are almost done. So the last step is just to go ahead and clean our transfer, and we are set. And so the amazing part is, now that we've created our chalkboard for ourselves, we can then reuse this transfer. We can create a shirt using our Couture ink. We can create another project on, say, like a piece of wood, and we can create something for a gift for someone in your life that is an adventure person who likes to maybe go camping or hiking. That would make a great gift for them, for like a housewarming gift for someone that's an adventurer. So many different uses for one transfer. It's just amazing. That's the awesome part of Chalk Couture. And the fact that you can use chalk paste on the transfer, and the fact that you can use the Couture ink as well on the same transfer. So that's pretty cool. So now that we have all of our chalk paste off of our transfer, I'm going to go ahead and get a towel here. So let's slide this over. Jess, I missed it. Why'd you say me? I don't know what I said. I don't even know what I'm saying. Why'd you say me? I missed it. Okay. So we are going to start by placing our transfer with the sticky side up just for a hot second because... Oh, camp? Oh my God, Jess. It's late. You see the time. You know I normally don't come on this late at night. I'm like half out of it. Of course you go camping, Jess. I'm an idiot. This is right up your alley. So usually what I do is, I usually just like to take a paper towel just to get some of the excess water off of the transfer first. And see how I mentioned how it's rolling? That was because it was sticking a little bit at first, because I didn't fuzz it as well as I should have. Silly girl, I know. I'm just tired, Jess. I'm sorry. You know I have my senior moment sometimes, and that was a big senior moment. Okay, so the last step, with this is going to be our Clorox wipe. So It can be, doesn't have to be a Clorox wipe. It can be any disinfectant wipe. So long as it is a disinfectant wipe. I know, I'm so sorry, Jess. I'm such a dingbat sometimes. It could be any disinfectant wipe. It can be dollar store, whichever disinfectant wipe you want to use. So you're going to go ahead and get all the chalk paste off of your silkscreen area. And you know why I'm sweating up here? You see this robe I'm wearing? That could have something to do with it. This is my winter robe, and I'm dying up here in my craft room. So we got all the chalk paste off of the front of our transfer, so we're going to flip it over. And we're going to end on the sticky side. And you can see the sticky's already kind of, you knew I was wearing it, huh? Yeah, you know what my robe looks like. I'm on my PJs doing some crafting. And then the final step is just running that Clorox wipe right over the sticky side of our transfer and getting all the chalk paste off from the other side. And then the cool part is the Clorox wipe is going to get all that fuzz that we put on here from my, well, I can say it now. I didn't have pants on. I had my pajama bottoms on. So it took all the fuzz from my pajama bottoms. So now the Clorox wipe is getting all that fuzz off, or most of the fuzz off. And it's okay if some of the fuzz stays on there. So long as we get all the fuzz off of the silk screen, we're getting all the chalk paste out of the silk screen, we're good. And it's going to bring the stickiness back. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of boggles my mind how that works, but it does. So once we do that, we just let it sit there for a few minutes and let that dry off. And then we're good to go. That's all we really need to do. You are cleaned and done and ready. And then our squeegees here that we have sitting in the water, we just kind of clean those off. And I just put those on the towel and clean those off as well. And we reuse those as well. These are they're like a silicone, I think is what they're made of. And I reuse the heck out of these things too. And I think I showed you earlier what they come in. These are the small squeegees. These are $4.50, but I cut them down just because I like working with that size a little bit better. On this type of transfer, on the smaller transfers. But that is pretty much it. And the other cool thing is, to get back to the project that we did tonight, the board that I used is actually the board that comes in your the starter kit that you get. And when you become a designer with Couture, this board comes in your kit, as I mentioned. Additionally, you get 5 of the 3-ounce, this size chalk paste. You'll get the small squeegee, and you'll also get the large squeegee, the angled squeegee that looks like that. And you get, I want to say, how many transfers are we up to? 8? I think we're up to 8. Oh my God, they just keep getting bigger and bigger with their starter kit. It's amazing. For $99, so it's pretty cool. And when you are a designer, you would get in the mail the Club Couture transfer just like this one before everybody else. So we got, as designers, this transfer in June so that we got to play with it, and then it becomes available to all the customers on July 1st. So you get that mailed out to you before everybody else so that you can share and build excitement for your customers for the following month. So that's pretty cool. That's just one of the perks. There's so many other perks with becoming a Couture designer. Did I mention that these chalkboards are guaranteed for 50 years and they're magnetic? So you can put cool little embellishments on here, like with the magnets. So you could do fun little things on here to embellish it. So that's kind of fun too. If you are interested in finding out more about becoming a designer, or are interested in purchasing any of these amazing products, just hit that comment above. I think it was the very first comment that I had linked my online store. And if you want to become a designer on my team, just send me an email at colleen.corsetti@gmail.com, or you can PM me on Facebook, and I would be happy to reach out to you and talk to you all about the awesomeness of becoming a designer. I thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me and my scattered brain and sleepy brain tonight. But I hope you enjoyed the project and have a fantastic night. I will see you guys later.